What's up, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz. We got a 5-game slate here on Saturday, so we're back on Prize Picks as usual. We have an early game here tonight at 5 o'clock. Sometimes on Saturdays they throw like random 12 o'clock games, 1 o'clock games, but we got one 5 o'clock game. But we're going to be covering the main slate here for the most part. I know Reoz has a pick in the early game, so if you're catching the video early, at least you have a pick to gravitate to there as well. So killing it in the month of March. Me and Raz only missed out on one pick so far for the free picks on YouTube. We've been killing it over on the Patreon. Nice 2-0 night last night. For me, Raz went 2-1, and it's just been a great start to the month so far. Hopefully we can continue on this trend. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks yet, man, sign up using promo code UPSTATE. Give you a 100% deposit match on your first deposit up to $100. Very active community that they have on Prize Picks. They do crazy stuff. You can bet on 40-yard dash time for the NFL Combine, esports, college sports, like so much stuff you can bet on for Prize Picks. Just it's a very fun way to play, man, and I recommend using it. They have the best props and the best odds. We use it personally for our player props compared to even sites like FanDuel, DraftKings. Player props, this is the way to go. So you're in the right hands with us. We're going to give you some fire picks today, and we also have premium content over on Patreon. Riaz, tell them about that.
Yeah, like Dell said, we went 4-1 last night. I mean, we're continuing to give out winners on Patreon and YouTube. You can find the link in the description for the Patreon. You can also find it at patreon.com/upstate. I mean, just an amazing month so far. We're only 4 days in. Today's the fifth day. We got 31 days in the month of March. I mean, a ton of days for us to give you winners. So highly recommend going out, checking it out. And if you do sign up, we're very really appreciated that you're gonna ride with us. So you can find it at patreon.com/upstate, and it'll also be linked in the description below.
Yeah, not to mention that that's where you're going to find all our March Madness stuff. So we can't use Prize Picks for college basketball. We can't do the player props on here, but we can definitely throw a ton of bets on our Patreon for March Madness. So stay tuned for that. For all like the Big Ten, ACC tournament stuff like that, we're going to be hammering those, of course, for the big game in the tournaments. So yeah, you can find all that stuff over there as well. But let's dive into this NBA player prop here. I'm going to be targeting somebody on points. I'm going to go to DeJounte Murray here, 22.5 points. Really like him in this game tonight. I'm actually targeting this game twice. I have two guys in the same game. 237 over under and a very fast-paced game. I agree. Two young teams. I think this one should be played relatively fast. The first game that these two played, it was an ugly game. Some of the stars just didn't play very well. And I mean, DeJounte right now, he's averaging 24.3 in his last 10 games. I mean, he hasn't been smashing, but he's been beating this prop quite a bit when he does. So when he has a really good game, he usually goes for like 30, 35, which is nice to see. And Charlotte's just awful on defense, man. 28 in points allowed, 23rd in free throws allowed, 29th in three-pointers allowed. I know Murray's not going to wow you from three, but he can get things going from there for sure. I think I can see a triple-double out of him tonight, but I really like him in the scoring.
Really like the pace of that game for sure. And obviously, as a Spurs fan, DeJounte Murray's been the whole team so far this year, and he's just going to continue, especially in this matchup. Over in the assists here, I'm back on Steph Curry here. His line's sitting at 7. The Lakers are just a really bad team this year. I mean, there's chances they're not even going to make the playoffs. They're barely going to even make the play-in games. But we saw Reggie Jackson go out there and have 9 assists. Without Draymond Green, it's really tough for Steph Curry to really get his shot. So he's the primary ball handler here. I mean, Andrew Wiggins has been playing great. We saw Klay Thompson come back after 2 games being out and playing pretty well against Dallas. But Steph Curry here, I mean, we see it already. I mean, 9 against Dallas, 10 against Dallas, 14 against Portland. I mean, he's the guy just making everything happen for this team. And the fact that his shot's struggling as much as it is, I mean, we saw the huge game in the All-Star game, but there's no defense being played there. But Steph Curry's been the ultimate playmaker for this team, and at 7 against uh, the Lakers, who give up a lot of assists, especially to point guards. I mean, this is a great matchup for him.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the Lakers are so awful in terms of letting assists be allowed. So, love Steph Curry there in that spot. I'm going back to points here. I love that same game between Charlotte and the Spurs. And I'm going to go with Terry Rozier here at 21.5. Like the over on his points here. Obviously, he's done it against good teams. I mean, against Toronto, I mean, not the hardest matchup, but they're about middle of the pack. And Cleveland very tough matchup. Went out there and had 29 against them just recently, 3 days ago rather. And I just love this game to target. Like I said, because the pace in the total, and LaMelo should be dealing with DeJounte Murray there, and Rozier should have a ton of open looks from deep. And when he gets going from deep, he can really catch fire. I mean, there's been games he's put up 17 3-pointers in a game, and that's some absurd volume from deep. And if he can get just half of those to fall, we're gonna hit this prop. And I mean, he's got 35, 40-point upside. Like I said, he's a volume shooter though. Sometimes he can get really ice cold, like I said, 5 against Miami. But I think in terms of just the matchup and the pace and how Vegas predicts the total, I think we should see a lot of volume out of Rozier, and I really think he's going to have a nice one tonight.
I do really like the volume out of Rozier. It's been incredible to see. I mean, 29 points a couple nights ago is just phenomenal. The last guy I want to talk about is in this 5-10 game, Harrison Barnes over at the PRA. 100% hit rate in the past 5 games. I mean, he's been scoring 20 points alone, and his line sitting at 23.5. I think with the Kings getting rid of just the extra guys that they really didn't need, kind of allows Harrison Barnes to go out there and play a ton of minutes and get his shots. We saw early on in the season how well he was playing before Bagley came back, and just a bunch of other guys kind of taking minutes away from him. But now with Sabonis down low, it really helps Harrison Barnes out a lot, and it just goes to show. I mean, after the All Star break, I mean, 32, 30, 24, 34. I mean, he's just been smashing this line. His upside for points is crazy. We know he can grab 10 rebounds almost any given night. So at a line at 23.5, I know Dallas ranks top 10 in all of the statistics for defense, but this is just a very low line for Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, people forget how important Harrison Barnes was to that Warriors team at that one point in time when they were um, supporting the strength in numbers and stuff like that. Very important piece, and he's been finding that same kind of stride again for this Kings team. So love Harrison Barnes here, 23.5. A guy I've been on. He's a guy I've been on the Patreon lately too, and he's been hitting for us. So that'll be our picks for the day. Reoz had that early pick at 5, so if you're catching the video early, plug him in. I think he's a really good pick tonight. So yeah, 3 guys in the later games, and with Harrison Barnes sticking in there, you obviously compare all these up. If you're catching the video early, it doesn't matter. You can plug these in as a 4-pick power if needed. So thank you guys for watching. Let's get this video up to 50 likes, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.